We just wrapped up another historic meeting of the President's Religious Liberty Commission here in Washington, D.C. This is an opportunity to shape the future of religious freedom for all of us for a generation plus, and that's what we're going to be talking about right now. Today's session focused on teachers and coaches and also on private schools and the challenges that they're facing in the culture. I've got Kelly Shackelford here with me. You know who he is. Also our client Marisol Arroyo-Castro and our former client, Coach Joe Kennedy. Hey to all of you.
Hi.
Thanks for making some time for me. Kelly, I want to start with you. What was the goal of this day? What were you trying to get out of this?
Well, really just allowing people to tell their stories. So the commission, like we know about Marisol's case and we know about Coach's case and, the Bangor Christian case. But the other people who are on the commission don't know about that. And certainly the general public, as this was carried all over the country, doesn't know about that. And as they're educated, that helps in and of itself, but it also helps us to see things that we need to do when we make the recommendations to the president. What do we need to recommend? So it was great, and I don't think I'm prejudiced. These guys were the best testimony. So
they really were.
Everybody needs to watch it later. Very powerful. And I think a great witness to the country.
We'll make sure and have a link to the full testimony so that you can see it. But Joe, I want to talk to you first because of your case. What was it that you hope people took home after hearing you share today some of your story? What do you hope they remember?
I really wanted them to know the personal side of it and the cost that you go through to fight the good fight.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get that point across and for people to know that it does come at a sacrifice, but it is so much worth it, and that if everybody just walked in faith and not worried about what the consequences were, none of us would be here having these problems. So it's just simple to fight the good fight, finish the race, and remain faithful.
I know we've had many conversations over the years, and I got to be there on the night that you went back to the field at Bremerton and took a knee on the middle of the field, and I was there to take a photo, just going to get a picture. I teared up a little, man, because it hit me all that went into that moment, that 15 seconds on the field, that was so unremarkable and frankly under the law should be unremarkable. It shouldn't have taken all this.
That's exactly the truth. I still can't figure it out. I mean, even to this day, God just had something to say, and it was so cool that all the supporters, millions of Americans jumped on with us and really supported us. And I think their prayers were the ones that actually stirred it up and kept it going and made it as far as it did and overturned Lemon, which is so amazing. So yeah, God knew what he's doing, even though we didn't for almost a whole decade that we fought.
It took a long fight. You went through a lot, and thank you for your dedication to it, for sticking with it. I know there was a huge personal cost that went with that. We're proud of you and thankful that you went through that.
Thank you, my friend. Thank all of you guys.
And one of the people that's going to benefit from that decision is standing next to you. This is Marisol Arroyo-Castro.
My new hero.
Oh, that was my line. I was going to say that.
She testified here today and did an outstanding job. She is not someone who likes being in the spotlight, but there are a lot of spotlights here today, and she did a great job sharing her story of having a crucifix by your desk in the junior high school. It had been there for a decade, and then somebody said, take that thing down. What do you hope people remember from this today, from your story?
Well, I want people to know what I didn't know, and that's that we have freedom of religion, and that the Constitution is there to protect that freedom of religion, not there to stop people from practicing it.
And as we just pointed out, as well as just the what's it called? Once you open a public forum, you have a right to, if you can hang a Yankees banner, a pennant, you can also put a cross up there. It only makes sense. But it's also going to be protected thanks to this guy overturning something known as the Lemon case. So they're going to be talking about Joe Kennedy a lot as your case is heard. How cool is it to get to meet him in the flesh?
Oh, that was crazy. I didn't know he was a celebrity. And I'm like, that's Kennedy!
I always enjoy it when our clients get to meet each other because you get the impression when you just hear from us about them that they almost know each other, but it's really not true. They don't get many opportunities to be together. And Joe, I just want to give you an opportunity to give her some encouragement as she presses forward with her case. What would you say to her?
And that's so perfect. We should have been mic'd up. As soon as she got done testifying, I went over behind stage and I was talking to her about concerned about what is next. How am I supposed to go back into engaging where I am right now? And just like with Franklin Graham, he sat me down and my wife and said, hey, you need to go back. God will restore you. He didn't say it's going to be easy.
It was hard.
So that's what I shared with her, and that she needs to fight the fight, and it's all going to be so worth it in the end. And that's really it. You just need to remain faithful.
Absolutely.
And no matter what happens, God's got it, and He's going to figure it all out. We don't have to understand it.
And you don't just win for you, you win for a lot of people that follow after you.
That's exactly what it's for. It's for everybody else that's going to come. We're going to leave the legacy.
Yep, and just like I'm learning from him, maybe someone in the future will learn from me.
Well, you definitely had the room today, and again, we'll share some of those clips on our social media. Keep an eye out for those. Kelly, there was also a panel discussion about private schools and the pressures on them. What are some of the recommendations that you've got going around in your head that you might suggest to the president as far as how to fix some of that?
There's a lot. I mean, we heard from schools that are being accredited in a way to say you have to drop your religious beliefs if you're going to stay accredited. And that's going on all around the country, right? Just incredible pressure on religious schools. The whole point of religious schools is so they can be uniquely who they are and be different and provide a different choice for parents. So there's things that the president can do pretty quickly. Number one, they can even do an investigation to expose what's going on. All of these schools all over the country, and all of these accrediting agencies, I mean, who else to do that than the federal government? So there's a whole lot of things that we will bring out of this, but I think the main thing to understand is there's federal constitutional law protecting the rights of religious schools to follow their faith without interference from any government official. And they have a right not to be discriminated against. They can't come in and say, we're providing funding to everybody but you because you're religious,
right,
or because you have these religious beliefs. And that's what the testimony really showed today.
I've said it before, but it bears repeating that if there's one word that describes the Trump presidency, especially his second term, that word would be action. And that's what makes this such a historic opportunity for the people on this commission, the commissioners, to make a difference for the future, for all of us. Tell us about the possible impact of that, because you're not going to just hand this off to Congress and it'll be filed away, like at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark in a big old warehouse. This very likely is going to lead to actual changes in the law and in in the executive branch.
Yeah, I would just ask people, really pray for us, for wisdom. This commission, there's never been one like this, and there's never been a religious liberty commission in the history of the country. And most commissions report to an agency or department. Our directive is to report directly to the President of the United States, the recommendations we have, what specific actions we're asking him to take to preserve and advance religious freedom into the future. So our goal is not just something that's going to last a couple of years. It's what can he do? What can he ask the Department of Justice to do? What can he direct be done that last our whole lifetime? And there are things, and we're learning these things that will protect not only right now, but our kids, our grandkids, into the future. So it's a tremendous opportunity. The window will close in about 8 months. We will be done. We've got to do this well. So I just encourage everybody to really be praying for wisdom and success in what we're doing.
Okay, I want to give you a chance as we wrap up here to offer your encouragement. You've seen a lot of cases over the years. As someone who's been through this before, what's your encouragement to Marisol and also for Joe as they move forward with their lives?
It's people don't know how hard it is to do what they're doing. You feel isolated, you feel alone. So one of the things I would say, everybody pray for them. Okay, even Joe now, as he's going around the country talking about what happened to him, what's happening to other coaches, and God is going to be with you every step of the way. The scripture that he gave me was Daniel 3, which is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right into the fire, but Jesus was with them in the fire.
Beautiful.
And if you look at the last line of that chapter, it says, and they promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were faithful. God was with them. God promoted them. And that's what he's doing with you guys. And so thank you for being faithful, because so many people don't want to stand up. They would put their cross under the desk forever. And thank you for being faithful and saying, no, I can't do this, but you're also standing for millions of other teachers. And that guy won the first case ever in the history of our country on the religious freedoms of any teacher or coach. That is the precedent that now Marisol follows in, and she will be setting precedent for the people that will follow her. So God bless you for being
Amen
faithful.
to that.
It's good to see all of you here. Kelly, Marisol, Joe, thank you so much. The next hearing is going to be in November 18th. It'll be in Dallas, I hear. So we'll also be covering that for you and sharing some of the highlights from it. Thank you for following along. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the First Liberty Insider. Just go to firstliberty.org and look for the sign up for the Insider, and you'll be able to keep up with all that's happening with the commission as we go along.